Second. If you like.
You know, I'm gonna stay before I'm gonna buy it. This place. Just depends on one more.
We're the Jelly Ranchers.
All set?
Well,
Call this meeting to order, the Topsham Select Board, November 6, 2025, and we're in the Donald A. Russell Meeting Room. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Patty, you call the roll, please.
Roland Tufts,
Here.
Ann Callahan,
Present.
David Kenny,
Here.
Mike Labby.
Hello there, I'm here.
All right, and Ryan Holmes.
I am here as well.
Well, we
Thank
got a
you.
full house. Nice to be with you
Excellent.
guys.
Town Manager's Report.
Congratulations to Topsham. Almost 60% of our registered voters participated in Tuesday's election. Thanks to Clerk Dumont and team for making her last election a smooth one. On that note, Clerk Linda Dumont will be retiring on December 12th. To honor her, we'll be having an open house in this room from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. so that people can come and wish her well. Linda's coordinated many successful elections, town meetings, and provided compassionate general assistance. We'll miss her. Deputy Clerk Amanda Campbell will be promoted to the town clerk on December 15th. And on another retirement note, Public Works Director Dennis Cox will retire on May 1st. Thank you to Dennis for many years of dedicated service, maintaining and improving our roads in all conditions and at all hours of day and night. More details to come on what we'll do to honor him, and we're thankful to have him for one more winter. Town Hall will be closed on Tuesday, November 11th for Veterans Day.
Good, thank you. Next up, boards and committee reports and updates. And then tonight, public comment. We have, Tyler Beater would like to speak.
Is the microphone on?
One sheet of paper here for each of you. Thank you. Well, good evening. My name's Kyle Beta. I'm a builder, I'm a contractor, general contractor. I've built 2 subdivisions here in Topsham. I presently live in Bowden. I own a mobile home park here called Bowden Pines. So the reason why I'm here tonight is I used to own Carnegie Hill mobile home park in Topsham and sold that in June of 1999. And unfortunately, in November of 2024, I found out that there was a tax lien that was put on. I sold this property in June of 1999. And unfortunately, November of last year, I found out that there was a tax lien that was put on me. I didn't own the property. The taxes had been paid my portion of the year at closing. And they were sent in. But the town of Topsham, they put a lien on me because I was the previous owner. Even though my taxes were paid. I'm very vigilant in paying my bills. Always have been. There's a new law that's going to be preventing towns from doing that to previous owners now. And that's the sheet of paper that I just passed out to you. Summary is one short paragraph, couple sentences. So I'm here tonight to ask you to clear my name. That's all I'm asking for. A tax lien, I wasn't even notified that there was a tax lien on me. 24 years later, I find out, unfortunately, there had been a tax lien put on me. And it was used against me in an election. I probably would have been your state rep for part of Topsham if that hadn't been sent out, that notice that, you know, why would you want a state rep who has tax liens been placed on him? Else I would have been representing part of your town. So I'm hoping that you can clear my name. What I'm asking for tonight.
I did some research. I wanted to find out, you had mentioned that there was this legislation. And so I've actually pulled it up, and what the new law says is that when the discharge takes place, the tax lien must include a statement that the assignee following the release of the property did not owe property taxes as to the released property. But we've already released that, lien
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's possible to modify the lien or just provide a letter that would indicate that it wasn't his property at the time. So at least in political arena, if he had not saying blame or fault, but just saying that his taxes were in fact paid, but we didn't discover it until 25 years later.
They actually weren't in fact paid.
Okay.
So the reason why is state law says as of April 1st, the owner of that property is the one that gets assessed taxes for that property when the next bill comes out. So in Mr. Labita's case, and I'm not saying he's a bad person and doesn't pay his bills, I'm just explaining why we can't do anything. His closing was in June. So the taxes that were prorated at that closing were the taxes for the April 1st of the prior year. So it would have been April 1st of 98. Because April 1st, 98 taxes reflect the bill that gets sent out in September, in the late August, early September of 98. They didn't get paid, or sorry, he paid those at his closing. But April 1st of 99 is the tax bill that came out in late August, early September of 1999. When that didn't get paid by August of 2000, the lien gets put on. Notice of that lien would have been sent, and again, I don't know what notices were or weren't sent 25 years ago. So when you're saying you didn't receive it, I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying I don't have records to show either way. That would have been sent to the April 1st owner of the property. And also in our practice now, we also send it to the new owner if it's changed hands. In this particular case, that lien got put on and then it got discharged again 25 years ago. So the town in essence did all it could do to clear his name by discharging that lien to show the taxes were paid. It was done. What I would suggest Mr. Labita could do, I don't know if this ever showed up on one of your credit reports. Sounds like maybe not because you didn't see it. But what you could do to clear things in the registry is you could file an affidavit that basically says, my name's Guy Labita. This is what happened. This is why, although I was technically the April 1st owner, so yes, the taxes were in my name. This is why I didn't know about it or didn't pay it. You could put your whole, relation of facts there, sign it, get it notarized, and you can record that in the registry of deeds. And then that'll give your side of the story to anyone that cares to look.
Well, the trouble is, sir, is that, that tax lien is still on there, the record of that. The document number, and that doesn't disappear.
The tax lien is not a valid lien. It's not a continuing lien. It's been discharged.
Oh, I know that.
But there's
I know
nothing we can do to change those records because those records were done accurately and appropriately at the time that they were filed.
Yeah, but it's misleading, the advertisement that was sent to thousands of people saying that I had liens against me. Technically, it was true, but I paid my taxes, before they were due at closing.
Not to besmirch politicians, but how often do we see politicians twist things? Unfortunately, it happens all the time. Not saying it's right, but there's nothing that we can do to change this. We have to follow the law to the letter, which is what the town did. The town taxed the right person, although you didn't own it at that point, you owned it as of April 1st, and the town discharged it once it was paid.
Well, when I came in and I talked to tax assessor here November 5th of 2024, when I found out that this lien was put on me back in 1999, I was told, oh, Town of Topsham doesn't send out notices to the previous owners.
And that's not the case. So And again, I can't tell you what happened in 1999, but I can tell you practice now is we pay a title abstractor that once it's getting close to the final liens in July, because we send out notices, what we call friendly reminders in June to maybe 200 people saying, hey, did you forget you owe your taxes, whatever. Most of those get cleared up and we get down to a list of maybe 30 people by late July. We pay a title abstractor who then goes to check, A, if there's any mortgage holders, because we have to notify them of the liens. And two, if the property's changed hands, and those people also get sent certified letters of the liens.
So why didn't, the person that was doing the title search, why did they find that in 2000? Oh, but Mr. Levita did pay his prorated taxes.
It wouldn't have mattered. That lien still would have been recorded because you were the owner as of April 1st. The prorated taxes, you were in like the worst possible situation because you closed between April 1st and June 30th. So the prorated taxes were for actually the April 1st of the year before. So the April 1st of 1999 was actually fiscal year 2000 tax bill, what goes for the period of July 1st of 99 to June 30th of 2000.
So I'm hearing from, you're the town manager, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm hearing from you that, you don't want to help clear my name on this one.
You're hearing from me that there's nothing that we can do for you.
How about a statement in a newspaper or a letter, something?
To say what?
Mr. Levita paid his taxes when he owned the property.
did.
It was the.
Mr. Levita was the April 1st owner. He's the person that assessed that. So we have to follow what the state has to pick a date. The state picks April 1st for whatever reason. That's the person that gets assessed for it. And that's why it's in your interest, or have your attorney, or when you sell a piece of property, to make sure that it's getting paid through the end of the tax year that it's in your name.
Yeah, so that the new owner should have to pay their taxes ahead of time and pay the whole thing.
You could negotiate that in your purchase sale agreement
You
for
know?
sure.
Well, from now on, that's what'll happen. But I do move a lot of real estate.
No, that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, but the new law, we should read the new law. This is to educate you guys too. You won't be able to do what was done to me back in 1999. Okay,
I have some, not questions for you, but just some comments that I want to make about this. If this were my property and I was on a lien with assessed on me when I have this clean record of paying my taxes, I went onto the registry myself, the registry of deeds, and I saw that he sold it on June 10th, and it was recorded in Saginaw County on 6/16/1999. So we didn't replace that lien until August of 2000.
Right.
So it was over 12 months after it showed up in the registry of deeds. So I don't understand how the person who, what did you say it was, the title searcher, didn't catch that.
She wouldn't even look for it at that point because the law says that the April 1st 99 owner is the person that gets sent the August 99 tax bill. We wouldn't be checking until July of 2000 for those liens before we recorded them.
But it was in August, so if you checked in July, it should have some, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here, but I'm from a perspective of a member of this board. I don't like the idea that people are being charged a lien against their property when in fact they might not be the owner.
Well, this new statute, what could have been done and would have made all our lives easier is if the actual language in it said that in the event that the town finds that the new person owns it, it gives the town the legal right to put the lien against the new person's name. The way the new statute causes more issues than it solves. Maine Revenue Services actually submitted testimony against it because the way this is written, we're supposed to file something in, say, Mr. Levita's case that says Mr. Levita is not responsible for this lien, but it doesn't give you an ability to say who is. So you end up in the registry of deeds with confusion because someone may think the lien's been discharged. I was talking to one of the title insurance lobbyists about it. And they're concerned that this new law is going to create increased claims because someone's going to see, say, the form that says Mr. Levita is not responsible and then think that the lien doesn't exist, but the lien still exists. Whereas this would have been better written to say that you could substitute the new owner's name for Mr. Levita's or something.
Yeah, because the deed that was submitted said the name of the new owner, the company's
No.
name.
Oh, I understand that, but we can't assess them. We have to assess the person that owned it, unless the statute gets changed. We have to assess the April 1st owner, but it would make sense to say this law that had been, the new one crafted in a way that would have been probably more beneficial for everyone. It would say that if you find the property's changed hands and the person's paid their prorated share, then you can assess the taxes to the new person. Justin's limited on the days he can commit taxes. It has to be done within a certain time period. That time period for, say, 1999 is gone by the time we're filing the liens for 1999. So there's, I have a feeling Maine Municipal may be trying to change this to make it work better, but it certainly may suit the purposes of helping someone in your situation in the future, the way it's written. Doesn't necessarily help the town's purposes, because now we either end up with a lien that someone thinks is discharged that isn't, or we don't have a way to assess it to the right person.
Well, I would like to commend you on getting the law changed, because that was a place of influence. Even if it gets adjusted, that was a good way to manage this, so it wouldn't happen to other people again. I just have a check in my spirit, if you will, that says, you know, this isn't fair. So, and I understand if you went by the law, I mean, there's no question that the law was followed, but when the law hurts an innocent person, that's a problem. So, thank you.
That's what I'm saying too.
Well, it sounds like we need to get this process up to, you know, the current level, because the technology that existed back then, which is why this was probably written this way, in terms of the snail mail, doesn't exist anymore. So you can pass this paper much more, you know, rapidly and have this process up to date, you know, in the course of a week or two. So I think, you know, part of that has to be sort of acknowledged in this, you know, whatever you're updating this law to be, it needs to reflect, you know, today's technology in terms of how fast these changes can be reflected.
Well, I'm not a state rep.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, the people you're talking to that are crafting this or anything in the future just need to bring it up and recognize this is, we're not analog. And they need to reflect, you know, how things actually work today. So, because it sounds to me like you were clearly impacted just by the fact that you're following a process that probably dated 15 years ago at a minimum.
Quick question, if you do decide to write a letter to try and attach it to your paperwork, this is the law that was at the time, if you want to take this.
All right, I have that.
You have
Thank you, yeah. All right,
Am I safe to assume, I'm just listening, trying to put the connections together. Safe to assume that what I'm hearing is during the time of sale, prorated taxes that you owed were paid.
yes,
The portion beyond that, that was the responsibility of the new owner was not paid,
correct.
but the language of the loss doesn't state that at the time.
That it's the
That it was
responsibility of the new
theirs.
owner, right?
At the time, so it went back to this, and it was because the new owner didn't pay their taxes.
Correct.
I'm trying to connect all that, thank you.
Right. Okay,
I have no further questions
all
anyway.
right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item, correspondence.
Yes, I have something on correspondence. We got a lovely letter from Ruth Cherry. She's 8 years old. She attends Woodside Elementary School and was very excited about the new bridge. And she made recommendations for what we should do as an opening ceremony. And our town manager wrote back to her a lovely response letter to explain that although the bridge will be done, I think you said in December,
Be open for traffic.
open for traffic, but it will be almost a year by the time they take the old bridge down. So, but it was so sweet of her to write this letter, and it's in her little child handwriting printed on the letter. So it's just really sweet. It was a nice letter to receive on select board. Thank you. And thank you for your response to her.
And I thought her idea was actually pretty good.
You know, we've got filed a way to pull out once the state tells us they're ready to start planning something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can read what she said. Did you guys get this letter? Oh, you got it. Okay.
Anything else? Okay. We have no adjustments to the agenda. Consent calendar, approval of the minutes of the regular select board meeting October 16th, 2025.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as reported from October 16, 2021.
Second,
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, next item up, 25-91, consideration and any appropriate action to award the bid for tailgate conveyor for Public Works.
Evening, Dennis Scott, Stockton Public Works. In our budget for this year, we have funded $15,000 to replace a 25-year-old conveyor system. This unit mounts on the back of a dump truck. And so when the payload comes out, the gravel comes out, we're able to transfer it to one side or the other. We use it doing curving work, where we're filling in behind a curving, shoulder work, things like that. It makes it a lot quicker than to take a loader over and turn perpendicular in traffic and try to build the shoulders in. So that's the purpose of the piece of equipment. We went out to bid. We had several bids come back. Two were for the identical piece of equipment. And piece of equipment I'm recommending is the low bid at $11,319.
Any questions?
It'll do the job. Yes.
I just have one quick, is it the model that can also be used for spreading salt and things in the winter?
It can be if you buy additional equipment to put
But
with
you
it.
can add
We
to
didn't-
this.
We could add to it.
Okay.
Take a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to purchase the 2025 specialty cross conveyor from Allied Equipment in the amount of $11,319.
We have a motion, to have a second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Thank you.
Pardon? For the short time?
All right,
He's up again.
he's up again, yes. All right, 25-92, consideration and any appropriate action to award the bid for an equipment trailer for Public Works.
Good evening. In our budget again for this year, we have budgeted $25,000 for a new equipment trailer. I need to openly admit that we're over budget. The difference in the amount for the over budget, I think they'll have from the savings of like this cross conveyor we just added some previous purchases in the capital budget. Price of steel has gone up tremendously, and it's the trailer material that's used to manufacture the trailer steel, and that's why the trailer is that much more money. It's the same trailer I looked at that was only like 24,000 a year ago, but because of steel prices, it's gone up. This piece of equipment was rated for 24,000 GVW. It's large enough to carry any of our equipment that we have. We currently are driving our equipment over the road. So if we have a project up on West Merrill, we drive it all the way up to West Merrill and all the way back again. And it's the wear and tear on our equipment that we're trying to minimize so we can help our life with our equipment. It's something we can use in-house. The alternative is we hire a contractor with a trailer or somebody like a wrecker service with a low boy, and they bring it and put our equipment on it and then bring it back to the garage for us. Sad to say, but occasionally we have like a sidewalk machine breakdown. They're a hydraulic motor that drives those. It's not like a gasoline motor, so you can put the machine in neutral and tow it. We can't tow a hydraulic unit like that. So we're having to put it onto a trailer to get it back to the garage. So that would, would be one of the times we'd use it. Take it to a job site or if we have a breakdown. I'm recommending the $31,893 unit for the Public Works Department. It's a tilt trailer, meaning that the bed actually tilts rather than having ramps. It's got less functioning parts to it, instead of fellows having to lower the ramp up or having hydraulics and additional equipment to lower and raise ramps. This whole trailer will tilt as the equipment gets onto it, then it comes beyond the halfway point, then it'll settle back down flat. I think it's a safer unit than some of the ramp ones and things like that. The very front of the trailer will stay flat. So if we do put like an excavation piece of equipment on an excavator on it, you can still carry the compactor on the front of that trailer because it'll stay flat and the trailer tilts to put the equipment on. Gives us a little bit more versatility.
So I just have one, so you mentioned like a breakdown, if you're gonna go retrieve a piece of equipment someplace and get it for service or whatever. How would you get that piece of equipment onto that trailer if it's not running.
It will have a winch system in front of it.
That's what
Use the
I'm
winch
asking, this be
over that.
modified
Yeah.
to, so it can be used as a,
Yeah, it's another unit.
And it would-
Part.
that would have multiple uses around town if we needed to. If
Could.
Parks and Rec
Yeah.
needed something,
Absolutely.
it can be a versatile piece of equipment. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we could move the bleachers, for instance. We had Tad Hunter work with us to move some bleachers around the site. This would be large enough that, because it's 28 feet long, front to back, we could have set the 16-foot bleachers on it, which we did not have a trailer that was large enough to be able to do that. Pipes that we buy are 20-foot sections. This being 28 will be able to encompass the entire length of the pipe rather than hanging it off the tail end of a 16-foot trailer, and safety reasons for bringing that down. Yeah,
Now, is that winch system something that would come with this, or is this something that would?
the winch would be an
later?
additional two.
Additional.
On this price, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll take a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to purchase a 2026 24,000 GVW load trail equipment trailer from Allied Equipment in the amount of $31,893.
We have a motion, we have a second. Second, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Dennis, again.
Thank you.
All right, 2593, consideration of any appropriate action to approve the Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee to award Haley Ward as the consultant for the Complete Streets Plan.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. Actually, we kind of like the idea of a tilting trailer. Sounds like fun. We'd like to play with that on the PD side too. So we appreciate you buying that. So, in the spring, we received a grant called the Streets for People project. And, part of that money was for hiring a consultant to assist with the construction of a complete streets plan. So earlier in October, we interviewed two firms after we put the RFP out. Assistant Town Manager, myself, and members of the Bike and Pedestrian Committee who conducted the interviews. And we would like to put forth to you the one company that we'd like to move forward with. Here this evening is Brian Banton, as well as other members of the Bike and Ped Committee. But Brian, we'd like to talk to you a little bit, if you don't mind, about the company we'd like to move forward with and why.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Brian Banton. I'm the chair of the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee. I actually just wanted to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about the consultants we've hired and also provide a little update to the new members of the select board. I've been in front of the select board a number of times this year, and so the previous members know what's going on, but maybe the new members don't. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. I have a number of other Bicycle Pedestrian Committee members here this evening. Sarah was here this evening, Sarah, the vice chair. Mary Beth is here and Dana is here. Mary Beth was one of the members that helped with the selection of the consultants. So we were created as a committee, as an ad hoc committee in 2022. So we've been in existence just about 3 years. We have a 2-year charge. And our charge is to advise the select board on matters of infrastructure and safety, and to develop a complete streets plan and traffic calming toolbox. So that second part of the charge is really what we're hiring the consultants to do. So back, Chief Hagan addressed a little bit of this back last December. There was a community resiliency partnership grant from the state of Maine that we applied for. This spring, we received the grant, or we received notice that we received the grant. Over the course of the summer, we developed the RFP. And then just last month, Mary Beth and Chief and ATM and another member reviewed the applications we received. We interviewed consultants, and we chose Haley Ward. We thought that their proposal aligned really well with the grant proposal that we had written, more so than the other applicant. And so that's why we recommended Haley Ward. And I just wanted to give kudos to Chief and ATM. They've been super supportive right through this process. So really appreciate that. And then I just wanted to mention a couple other items. We've already spent about $8,000 of the grant money. We purchased two, we've been calling them black boxes. They're not actually black, they're white. But they are traffic counting devices. They're inconspicuous. So I sort of think of them as our secret weapon. So Chief has them mounted around town in various locations. And we've already collected traffic data on, let's see, we did Tedford, we did Cadence, Forsyth, Mallet, and Maine, I think, and maybe others.
Middlesex Road.
But that data is great because the folks who, the cars don't know they're being counted. We're collecting speed data, we're collecting traffic counts. So it's really useful, a useful tool. So, that was something that the police department is going to have going forward. And we were able to pay for it with grant funds. So that's been really great. And then finally, I just wanted to mention, as we onboard the grant, the consultants for the grant, we have an advisory committee. We currently have 2 openings on the advisory committee for select board members. So we would enjoy having some select board members on the committee as well. And happy to take any questions if there are any. Thank you.
I just have one thing, just a clarification. You're talking about cameras, and I know this answer, but for the people listening and everybody, this is not for enforcement. This is data collection.
They're not cameras.
Well, whatever they are, they're not for the purpose of law enforcement. It's data collection.
Correct.
Just so people aren't getting, I know it's a hot topic out there in other communities that just want to make sure that's
no,
clear.
they're not photographing license plates
Correct.
or doing things like that.
I knew that, but I didn't know who's listening.
I'm just kidding.
I'm telling them down the drive.
How many proposals did you guys get back?
We received 2.
2, so
Yeah.
this is one of 2 that were, so one out of 2.
Yeah, and we thought they were both good, but this one really aligned well. The other one was a little bit over budget and wasn't as well aligned to the grant as we had, or our grant proposal as we've written.
Do you have the total proposal number for Ms. Ward?
It's right, they came in like really close to the dollar amount. The total grant amount was 69. We spent around 8 on the boxes, on the traffic counting devices. So it's a little over $60,000. They've proposed a 9-month timeline to do the work, which was another thing we preferred actually over the other consulting group had a significantly longer timeline. But they were very close to the dollar amounts, right around 60.
Do we need to approve a dollar amount if it's a grant for a committee?
Whether you say the amount explicitly, or you say we approve the Haley Ward proposal, it would be implied in that perspective.
Got it.
The other thing, Brian, before you sit down, you might want to give a little more pitch for exactly what would be involved in being on the advisory committee that you're trying to find people to do.
So it's a grant steering committee. We have about a 9-month period. I think we're going to be getting started next month, December or January. And then over about an approximately 9-month period, we're going to be developing the complete streets plan, traffic calming toolbox, with the consultants. So, that's the basic task of there are a couple other little pieces, but that's the meat of it.
Would they need to be at every meeting or just certain ones, or?
I don't think it would be important to be in attendance at every meeting. At our kickoff meeting, I'm shooting a little bit from the hip here. I think at our kickoff meeting with the consultants, we're going to sort of figure out exactly where our work plan is and when like key milestone sorts of things might happen. There are going to be a couple of public meetings, which are just going to be open to the public. They've committed to it, I believe, at least 2. So there will be other opportunities. Our meetings are always open. They're public meetings. We meet on the second Monday of the month. That, could be tweaked. We typically meet for an hour. We're talking about probably having slightly longer meetings, during this period. But some of that stuff needs to get worked out with consultants.
I'd be willing to serve on the committee.
You can put me down as well. You might have three. Oh, there you go.
Can you? Can we though?
Yeah, if you do, we just have to notice it as a select board meeting.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, because we can't have three.
all right, then.
We can't meet out of
Bill, we
the
can't.
select board meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna talk about it. You can do it.
Yeah.
I didn't want there to just be so that.
Not to exceed $61,000 to answer your.
Thank you.
Are we ready for a motion?
We are.
I'd like to make a motion to award the contract to Haley Lord as the consultant for the complete streets plan for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee.
A motion and a second.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the good work. All right. Okay, so 2594, consideration and any appropriate action on the appointment of Lori Hobson to the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee.
We interviewed Lori today, before this meeting, and she very much wants to be involved in the town. And being on this committee really fits her schedule. We asked her about, has she looked at the comprehensive plan yet? And she said no, but she's planning to look through that. We also informed her that the first meeting would be for her next Monday. And, she thinks that Topsham is really going in the right direction. And, I think she's going to be a good asset to the CPIC team. Any other comments from the interview?
You nailed it.
Okay.
Said it all.
In that case, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Lori Hobson to the Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee.
I'll second it.
All right, moved and seconded, all in favor? Thank you. 2595, consideration and any appropriate action regarding issuing an RFP for Tedford Road sidewalk design.
So, and I'll let Dennis take the kudos for this in a minute, but we're happy to report that we're done with the Tedford culvert and the sidewalk that goes along that piece. So the next phase is to finish the sidewalk on Tedford Road. As part of the prior phase, Wright Pierce did a preliminary design of the sidewalk, and they found that they thought the best place was on the west side of the road. We had a neighborhood meeting. Neighborhood came, they liked Wright Pierce's preliminary design, and they like having the west side of the road. So now we need to have the actual design work done. Unfortunately, this needs to be drainage that's gonna have to be added, because once you add sidewalk, the water doesn't come off the road. One thing that may help us a little bit in costs is the state has now said that they'd like to see the lower road rail trail happen. Dennis had gotten numbers of about 100,000 that was gonna cost us on this project just to rebuild the railroad crossing when we did the work. So hopefully we're not gonna have to rebuild a railroad crossing that soon won't exist, so it may save us some money. But the point of this RFP is to get that design done and then come up with a high confidence estimate so we can figure out exactly how much this is gonna cost. When we approved money for capital projects in the town meeting, this was one of the approved uses for that money. If you remember at the time, we said there's not gonna be enough money for all these projects, but as opportunities present themselves, they could be used for any of these at the discretion of the select board. So tonight, we're just asking approval to basically put out the RFP.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we authorize the release of the RFP for the Tedford Road sidewalk design.
A motion, you have a second? Second, all in favor? Great, thank you. 2596, consideration and any appropriate action regarding setting up a reserve account to accept donations to construct a community center, including refundable donations over $500.
So as you remember at your meeting about a month ago, we had a three-pronged next efforts we'd like to do toward the community center, one of which is to start a fundraising campaign. In connection with starting the fundraising campaign, we need a place to put the money. There had been talk amongst the committee, should the town set up a 501c3 or something, but we really don't need to, because tax donations to the municipality are just as deductible as tax donations to a 501c3, and it's less paperwork and it's this one entity. So the purpose here would be to set up that account so the donations could be made. The other thing that we thought would be advantageous to put in, because people may say, well, why should I give money if I don't know for sure this is gonna happen? And this has been discussed with Finance Director Ricker as well as the town attorney, and suggested that if the person, say on the donor form at the time, if they check a box, it'll say that if we use the date of December 31st, 2028, but it could be whatever we wanted. If construction is not begun by that date, the person would get their principal of their donation back if it was over 500, and they asked to have that happen. Donations under 500, as well as interest on donations that are put in that account, would if the community center didn't happen, would put it in with something called the Whittier Fund, which the town has. It's about 200,000 that's set aside for community recreation capital improvements. So happy to entertain questions.
So this would be a town bank account,
Right.
and so it would be subject to audit.
Yep.
Okay, good.
It probably wouldn't be a literal separate bank account. It would just be money that Kathy controls, and
Correct.
if
A line
it's
item.
and if it's similar to what she's been getting for interest rates recently, you would get like 4% interest on it at a bank.
So these donations would be kept in a spreadsheet someplace, is
Yep,
how?
Absolutely.
Because that's how we know the 500 above it
Right.
for the future.
Spreadsheet exploded. Okay, can take a motion.
Sure, I make a motion to establish a reserve account to accept donations to construct a community center, including refundable donations of over $500.
Okay, and second, move to second, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Item 2597, consideration of any appropriate action on the election of chair for the select board.
I would like to make a motion to elect Roland Tufts to the chair of the select board.
Second.
Okay, a motion a second, all in favor? Thank you very much. 2598, consideration of any appropriate action on the election of a vice chair for the select board.
Go for it. I'd like to make a motion to elect Ryan Holmes as the vice chair of the select board.
Second. All right.
Second, third, fourth.
Who's the second, Patty?
I didn't second,
Oh,
but
okay.
you accepted it, right?
Yeah, second for.
Well, you accepted
Right.
it.
All in favor?
All right, all in favor? Thank you very much.
Just an executive session.
We do have one.
Yeah.
So we'll now,
So I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting to go into executive session.
yeah. All right, the actual item is, we'll enter into executive session pursuant to Title I MRSA, Section 4056C, to discuss acquisition of real property. Second,
Second.
all in favor? Okay, we're